This is David Morgan from silverinvestor.com, and today with me is David Silver from Silver Stampede, and I've turned the tables on you. We've got a couple of videos up on YouTube. And what I want to ask you is, what's something we visited before of what got you in the silver business, and we've already talked about that. But what I want to know from your perspective is it accelerating? Are there more people that are waking up to the idea of precious metals? And give us an idea of how many people are in this market, what you expect in the future, and if there's any buzz around it yet.
Well, thanks, Dave. That's a great question. I appreciate it. And in my experience so far, silverstampede.com has been open about 2 years. And with little or no advertising, people are finding me. And I am happy to talk to anyone. They don't have to buy anything. I'd like to talk about silver. I'd like to talk about our fiat currency. I'd like to talk about how people should be aware of what's going on in Washington, D.C. and Wall Street. And don't think that the Federal Reserve and the federal government's going to protect you. Protect yourself. Protect your family. Plan ahead. Think about what's going on today on Wall Street and in Washington. And think about, as my dad used to say, it's one thing to make money. It's another thing to hang on to it. And so in my silver business, I find I will sell people an ounce of silver. A lot of places will say minimum 500 ounces, 1,000. I'll sell 1 ounce. Do I make any money on that? Not really, but I hope for repeat customers. I like people to spread the word, and I have not yet once seen a child hold, or anybody, hold an ounce of silver and didn't say, man, that feels good. That's solid. You know what? That is not plastic, and that's not going away. Silver has been money for 5,000 years. It's also, in the Middle Ages, people who ate with sterling silverware got less sick because silver is antibacterial. Silver is just a good thing. There's medical applications, I'm sure, now and in the future for silver. And but to answer your question, what are people's reaction? Well, to be honest, I don't really advertise that much in California. Even though I love California and I've lived here my whole life, for some reason I see a little more awareness in the Midwest, Texas, Michigan. That's where I do a lot of my business. Florida, all over the country, basically. I do a little bit in California, and also the California state tax rate is a little bit prohibitive, so people can get a little bit less of a deal there. But across the country, I find people, teachers, a lot of retired military, people on pensions and fixed income, who are wising up and sending me $50 a month, $100 a month, $200 a month, and I'm sending them 10 or 20 ounces. Silver comes 20 troy ounces in a tube just like this. All our silver is brand new for the mint. You'll never get a used piece, and you'll never get a piece that wasn't, you'll be the first hand to touch it outside the mint. And so I really feel good about selling silver. For the previous 20 years, I was in the film business, and the movies aren't really helping people.
I want to probe the movie part a little bit more, though, because,
yes.
I used to be in California, but I have this kind of idea about the film industry. Now, if you go back to George Lucas when he did the Star Wars films, and I don't remember which one you made, but when they crashed the starship, and the little buzzard guy flying around, and they got to repair it, and he goes out there and he says, I want to buy this and this, because he ran the junkyard.
Right.
And he says, and he's flying around and he says, oh no. He goes, I'll give you federal credits. And he goes, you a Jedi? He goes, no, I'm not a Jedi. And he waves his hand, federal credits. No, out here we take gold. And he bites it, right? Now, was Lucas trying to put something in that film, or is that just me being like a gold silver bug and zeroing in on that?
There are so many people that look at people like Lucas and Larry Kasdan and these guys as some sort of prophets and people that are trying to tell you things in the language of film, in the language of images and through analogies. The Lord of the Rings and the Nazguls sounds like Nazis. People could go on and on about how these writers will use analogies and take our current situation, dress it in another time and place, and tell you what's going to happen.
Having said that, I want to pursue more on the California side.
Sure.
And I know everybody's individual, I understand that, but still, the California precept of precious metals catching on as much as it is, say, in the Midwest, or do you have a feel for that?
I do have a feel for people in California. They're not into it. I'll be honest.
Yeah, that's what I would expect to hear. Right?
Yeah, people in California, and I'm one of them. I lived here my whole life. I love California. We're so busy. We have expensive homes. We have our toys. And we're so busy around the clock raising our kids that people don't sit back, really get beyond the headlines, in depth, read the researchers and the smart Wall Street types who aren't currently working for huge corporations and have the freedom to speak freely. And if you start to read and you start to research that, you'll start to understand that now is a good time to look at, what do you think in someone's portfolio? What's a good percentage to hedge against potential hyperinflation or devaluation of U.S. currency?
I think we should take that up on our next segment, but that's a great question. How do you hedge in today's environment? It's great talking with you, Kim. Thanks.
Thank you, David Morgan, silverinvestor.com.